Hello, everybody. And here we go. Hasta la Vista versus Koch. Division 2 Grand Final. Both players already going into Division 1 next season, but the question is who can take the title of Division 2 winner and who can take a bit of extra money with that as well, thanks to all of your funding this season. This also brings a bit of prize pool with it, so let's get into this game number 1 here in this best of 5. And we have interesting picks and bans here. A really kind of classic mid-sized Soviet 25th Guards Tank Corps division on Black Forest versus the 5th Plane Day, a division that we have seen many, many times on this map before. And yeah, Pasta coming in here on the left side. That should be pretty interesting. So what do we see here deployment-wise, Chloride?
Deployment-wise, Pasta is going pretty standard. Pasta does get is doing the Surblinde Dragon Para with some Gazelle cannons supporting. The Dragon Paras are going to try to take Charlie, which is the logical choice. When you have a better, stronger opener, you can basically get the Sawmill for free. AMX-10s, there's going to be 2 of them, and they're going at the open area of Foxtrot. Probably gonna try to prod around and maybe prevent enemy recon units or from getting into position, and even potentially cutting the road between Bravo and Delta. That's kind of the golden grail of the target. The best thing that you can do with a Surblinde opener or any opener is to just cut off the enemy's ability to get into Bravo. But the problem here is that 25th, as far as these middleweight Soviet tank divisions go, this one is one of the ones with a pretty decent opener. The T-64 Rasvedka, the forward deployment recon tank with the maximum range of 2,275 meters. There are both a recon gunship and a standard gunship with AA missiles to deal with the Gazelle cannons. There are a lot of BMPs in this deck for late game. But at the start here, we're seeing the fast Plumia and Conqueror's weapons teams just going out there trying to gain some ground for a smaller amount of points, with the Rasvedka BMP2 bringing out basically the Rasvedka BMP2 moving together with the T-64. And with those two, they do have enough firepower to deal with AMX-10s, unless the AMX-10s get their shots off first and get their shots off frankly, better. The T-64 is going to be able to sit around there and probably going to be either an early target of air attacks or something that Pasta has to maneuver around. And 25th has some nice tools to help with the tank aggro, such as UAVs. And so flying around UAV to give spotting against the hidden ATGMs, for instance, one of the strategies that you can go for. And even then, like I think Koch is counterpicking against 5e here, and I think 25th is a very good counterpick. The tanks are completely superior to what the French bring. The BMP2s in number are a great way to both defend and attack these urban areas, whether it be Charlie or Alpha or Bravo. The infantry there, French infantry, good units, of course, but massed BMP2s can deal with any numbers of infantry. Overall, I'm kind of calling this for Koch here already, of course. A few micro mistakes, a Mephisto missile that hits in a bad place, and suddenly Pasta can probably try to go for the jugular, especially if the AMX-10s start out the game by just getting a lot of nice shots off. This could, Koch could be punched back and be forced to try to fight from a bad position after so many points here are invested in the opener, with a fighter also coming in.
Yeah, and the Mi-24 case here and the are relatively dangerous for the Super Plane. They don't have the ATGM though, so they have to get into gun range to really get the kills there. The rocket's not quite good enough to get the kill against them. And they also have to be somewhat careful of getting doubled by the Gazelle cannons. Roland 2, pretty good against helicopters as well. But yeah, having 2 helicopters but none with Kokon missiles is a bit of a weird choice. So The Mi-24 VAA obviously relatively good against the Gazelle cannons as well. MiG-29 helping out here as well. So those two go down. And Pasta immediately going into the MX-30 printer. So Pasta wants to take the fight immediately to the enemy side before they can bring out enough of the T-64 tanks to really give them a fight here. And I think that is a correct decision here. You want to make it fast as 5th Plane Day here. This is not a matchup where you want to go into AMX Alpha 1 microing in the late game. And the Super Plane Day here in the bottom is already in danger. Mi-24K is in gun range. And it has the extra 23mm gun pods tucked under its little like flaps or little
Wings.
micro wings there that the Mi-24 comes with, that it can deal damage to the Super Plane Day with. So that one has to be careful. But Roland 2 is also closing in here. Smoke is still around for the moment. Okay, it's dissipating now. But the Mi-24K now also a bit too close to really get a shot off there. It will get the Mi-24P here, the P4 PC here most likely. But the Roland is there. Stun happens here thanks to Super Plane Days. 2 MGs as well. And the Mi-24 is pushed back for now. Roland will keep the units alive. Meanwhile, a Klur going down in the middle. No AA around there, so the Mi-24V there can get closer. Can bully a bit the AMXs and the VLRAs over there. But the AMX-30B2 also has a 20mm, so you can't stay around for too long there. So the question is, will the AMX-10 there go down, or will it survive under the 50 cal fire there as well? It's close.
Yeah, interestingly, the AMX-10 goes down, and the T-64 now opening fire on the AMX-10s. AMX-10s not attacking at the same time. Second one could now move in and try to get a side shot there. It's a pretty bad angle. Dragon Paras don't have AT weapons, but they are excellent spotters with a good sniper rifle, as well as a capacity to run off with the smoke grenades. But with the Rasvedka BMP-2 sitting there on the back, and infantry now starting to move to secure that southern forest. In the fight for the forest, if you have an ability to hold the southern forest, that's a huge deal. And we can see infantry reinforcements are already being both weapons teams and standards. Here comes the air attack, Jaguar AT flying around, decent, good accuracy, but not the biggest of ranges for the French AT missile. But with the 30 penetration, it does one-shot a T-64 and is a huge threat.
Ooh, and it gets the hit! It does get the hit there. Jaguar AT with the upgraded AS-30, 60% accuracy on that one, and yeah, it does find the target, and that is a big kill here. BMP-2 in the south in an engagement with the AMX. The AMX there playing a really dangerous game, as it has to know that infantry is relatively close by, and the infantry now does find it, gets a hit with the RPG-22, gets a second one, so it gets a kill there. BMP-1 does not get hit by the Jaguar second missile, and we have an Su-27 already in the sky. You get really good fighters with the 25th, so playing air against it is relatively risky. You will eventually get whittled down there, whilst the Grandier Voltigeurs now pushing in the middle. Foxtrot captured by Pasta. Charlie about to be captured as well, so currently Pasta is using the advantage of the faster, of the slightly lighter division here to gain both flanking points and gain the tick early on. That is what you need to do, and the push in the middle here going decently well as well. AMX-30s, you love to see them firing on infantry, because with their 20mm autocannon, they do really good damage there. You always have to be careful to not run into RPG range, but as long as they can fire from a decent distance, they are really good fire support. And the AMX-30 pushing deeper here towards the Plymia and the BMP-1 there.
Yeah, speaking of fire support and autocannons, we see Koch use the BMP-1P with the Conqueror's missile. This is a BMP variant that costs 50 points, quite pricey for a BMP-1, but it has a great AT missile and it has smoke. And I think this is it's not just a budget choice. I think with so many French units having French armored units having the light armor. I think the BMP-1 tank gun, even when it is short range and inaccurate, is actually the better choice here, and I kind of commend Koch for not going the mainstream choice. The Grenadier Apilas are not going to be able to fight this on their own, even though they are powerful units, and it is more important to get rid of the French fire support, the AMX-30Bs. We can see those cannons just absolutely eating through the Motostrelge squad.
Yeah,
And
the single
after losing the
T-64, yeah,
T-64,
not good enough to help out the CVT-64 to hold this line, and this is a big, big problem right now for Koch. This shows that, yeah, as a heavier tank division, you always need a bit of a level up, and currently Pasta is trying to hold the enemy down low enough that they can't afford a second of those heavy tanks, that they can't quite afford the combined arms, and it is working pretty well here. T-64 BVK all runs towards the Apilas, does dodge it for now, but the Apilas infantry is pushing forward, and the MX-10 RC gets a side shot, gets the kill here. This is not looking good for Koch, as his front line is falling apart. Has a T-64 BV coming in, but this is not looking good for the 25th at all. Another kill there on the BMP-1 as well, and that means no ATGMs currently around for Koch on the front line. He still has the 2 helicopters, he still has a decent air force, but maybe investing a bit too much into that. Maybe 2 fighters and an Su-25 a bit too early here, and that leaves him really vulnerable on the front line right now.
Yeah, the Su-27 especially would have been a great buy if it had prevented the T-64 Razvedka from being destroyed. But unfortunately, Koch mismicroed it and kept it back to home, so as to not intercept the Jaguar 80 when it came in. The one angle that Koch still has some power in, which is the Southern Forest, has now currently the French are sending infantry, flamethrowers.
Su-25 getting a kill against the Roland. AMX-10 goes down, VLRA goes down as well. So this situation in the middle at least is improving a bit. Issue is the +4 right now. Like, +4 on Black Forest is brutal, as even if the game stabilizes again, it gives you a magnificent point lead that the enemy has to come back against, and that is never easy on this map. That means that the enemy has to push either really fast or really hard in the late game, but both not easy to do on this map. So Koch here now in real trouble. The kills at least giving him a bit of a chance here to come back in my eyes, but it will need some really, really good effort towards the middle, and he's currently printing T-64, so this is the all eggs in one basket play through the middle there. He wants to do one big push where he maybe with the Su-25 then kills also the enemy tanks and just really gets all the enemy heavy units at once. But that is obviously also a really, really risky playthrough, as he needs to get into the center there, and he doesn't have a lot of infantry to play with here. Currently none on the front line, only now some recon infantry coming in. So this movement has to be done really well with the T-64s.
Yeah, the BRM and the Mi-24K are currently in practice just doing all the spotting anyways. The BRM is pretty close, dangerous close to some French infantry right now, and the AMX-30s could easily just destroy it. And with the Mi-24K going to be under assault by those Mistrals sooner rather than later, this really has to start working for Koch pretty soon. Okay, Koch is buying some redundancy, extra recon, which is good. Also, interestingly, extra leaders, 2 extra leaders in addition to the T-64 leader, and it's a little bit of a panicky buy, I think, because Koch is losing. Those points should be spent maybe into actually securing the Foxtrot fight. Currently, Foxtrot fight not going well at all. But tanks, AMX-30s, don't have any supply. There's no supply, was just paused by Pasta. So if Koch actually just keeps these fights up and stays away from the Grenadier Voltigeurs as long-range 80 rocket launchers, this could, the attrition could go pretty decently for Koch in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, but he needs to find an angle here, and he needs to find the angle relatively quickly. His helicopters currently still could provide it, but Mistrals and Roland 3s on the way in good numbers, so he needs to use them in the next minute or two to actually get some job out of them. T-64 and BRMs here disengaging. The AMX-30 does overextend a bit there. Issue really is right now that the infantry is not here just yet for Koch, and there is a bit of infantry on the way, 30mm grenade launchers, some superior RPOs, but his tanks now kind of have to go in on their own, and you never want to run into enemy that has Apilas. The first shot at least misses, the second shot hits front armor, so the Apilas unit at least gets got there, but the other T-64 BV gets a side shot from one of the LRACs, so takes a good amount of damage there. The other one getting hit by another LRAC as well, so pushed back, and there's no supply anymore for Koch either, as his supply units got used up, so he's in the same predicament that Pasta is, only that he can't quite afford to wait for a resupply, as his Urals are on the way as well, but that is time that he kind of doesn't have if he wants to get into this town, so has to push with the helicopters right now, and has to really kind of follow it up immediately with the mod. Razvedka is doing that. Infantry is pushing directly into the zone as well. That has to work out. Mistral's now around. Roland 3 now around as well, so helicopters out of the equation now in the center. And yeah, this is not an easy push here for Koch at all, but it still has a chance here, as he did a good job whittling down the infantry on the front line.
Yeah, the helicopters being able to engage those grenadier voltigeurs on their own without there being any air defense was a huge boon for Koch. A little bit of an overinvestment or not lack of combined arms for Pasta there, and maybe a one AMX-30 too much, one Mistral too little. And now with the Plamias, which are going to be engaged by infantry, this and also will be able to pretty cheaply just hold the front line. This is Koch. Now I think Koch has a chance here. Koch still has not actually fought off the main force, and with two helicopters, two Pumas landing in here, and neither side, no, Koch bought a Masta, and there's an Alf 1 coming in for Pasta as well. Now Pasta is targeting and likely destroying this cube, but Koch needed to spot those Pumas and open fire there with the artillery, because right now that earlier tank battle is in vain. It was not exploited properly towards the win, and Koch is now trying to exploit this, realizing that there is no longer actual infantry there. So Motorasvedkas are going in here as the T-64s are reloading.
Good reaction here from Pasta, getting the Mistrals out of harm's way there right now. And yeah, lacking real infantry for the moment, but 5 infantry squads on the way, so this will only be a momentary predicament. Oh, Masta gets both helicopters, comes in a slight bit too late, as the AMX-30s have been repaired, but for the long game, if there is a long game, this is really, really big, really helpful. 2 TRM-2000s are still here as well, so for now, Pasta still has supply, but that might run out eventually. Su-25 gets a kill here, but might get shot down. Nope, does dodge the second Roland missile. So MX-30 kill there, pretty nice. But on the other side, the Jaguar is back in action as well. No fighter here out right now. So really scary situation for Koch. You don't want to lose another T-64 to that beast. And MiG-29 here not up. The Su-27 is damaged in the rear right now. So fighter number 2 should still be available, but it's not coming out, and the Jaguar does get a missile off, does miss this time around. Mi-24 tries to get a Vertigler.
The Brennos get a side shot against a T-64 leader, and this T-64 leader was so crucial in actually holding this angle. Now the AMX-30s can just move on the side, and yeah, so I think the strategy that Koch kind of wants to be playing here is sending infantry
forwards. One AMX-30 goes down. The T-64 in the middle did get it. The 30mm grenade launchers, they can hold out as long as there are no AMX-30s involved here. They can do good damage. VAB goes down to the T-64 as well. The Apilas and the FR1s are, like the LRAS, this are pretty scary as well. But LRAC. But yeah, the smoke mortar here trying their best to separate the enemy armored vehicles, but they also kind of separate the own tanks and give the enemy a smoke to disengage into. So the VABs here got quite quickly by the T-64s, and now the 30mm grenade launchers can hold their supremacy there again. Ooh, T-64 eats a frontal shot, but smoke blocks the Mephisto's missile from hitting. Conquerors is around here as well. It doesn't one-shot, but it gets the bail out against the Brenners. The supply on Koch's side is running a bit low here. Koch needs a new supply truck. Not on the way yet. And the T-64 BVK actually gets hit by the AV-1 now as well. Ooh, has to be careful that it doesn't go down there. Oh, and the T-64 Brenners gets hit by the Apilas. Apilas gets the kill there. BVK survives. T-64 BV. The Brenners is the bailed out unit on the other side, but TRM finally arrived. They get both killed though. Oh, supply issues are being completely shot through the roof here now for Pasta. The question is, how many supply cards did Pasta bring in the first place? Does he have 3? Does he have even... Did he try to be sneaky? With 5th Plan Day, you sometimes have to be a bit sneaky because the slots are relatively expensive. If you only bring 2, then you already lost half your supply cards there. So if this game goes long, you might have a really, really big supply issue now that 2 supply trucks and 2 supply helicopters have gotten shut down. MiG-29 here gets the kill against the Jaguar HE, does get shut down afterwards though, and the infantry here of Pasta is still keeping the push up. T-64s have to rotate around, only the Saperi right now engaging. 30mm grenade launcher currently not quite in the action, and that is an issue. And the infantry does get forward, and there is a T-64 showing side armor, and it gets shot down. The Apilas gets the side shot. T-64 with the slightly slower turn rate there, coming in a bit too late. T-64 BVK getting hunted down by hot missiles now as well. The Plymia goes down. The helicopters at least trying to get in here into the action. Have to be careful how far forward they go, but a couple of the Mistrals at least have been killed off as well. Oh, but the CV of Koch goes down as well. Has the T-64 CV still, so he could replace it, but he can't repair that easily right now. He has a big supply truck coming in right now, but that is only for the helicopters. Second one coming in for the front line. And yeah, the situation here is still pretty dire. Heavy ATGMs hitting the T-64B in the north. It gets hit against the MX-30. MX-30 doesn't retaliate there. The Milan 2 team there is an issue. He still has the infantry remaining there. Really bloody fight for both sides. At the same time, a push here in the south attempted by Koch, who has brought another T-64 BVK there, but Jaguar AT coming in. Okay, does miss, gets hit by the Igla, SC-27 on the hunt as well. There is still the Roland. There are still 3 more Mistral teams, so the SC-27 is out of this world, but so is the Jaguar. And there is a bit of a push here for Koch in the south. 1 minute 44 only remaining though, as the +4 has gone ticking on for a while now. So he is on the absolutely real timer right now. His supply truck has to basically catch up with the CV on the front line. He has done the smoke trick in the south, so to try to get himself a bit more time, but he has to get the middle at the same time, and that is not going to be easy. There's only a P4PC there on the other side. The MX-30 Branders is still bailed out, and there is only now a CV, a supply truck on the way, but he has so little time remaining here.
Yeah, the old-fashioned corner smoke here is working and giving a few minutes extra for Koch here. And Koch's units are taking the frontline positions and also resupplying from the big cross truck at the same time. And yeah, the strategy of Pasta here has been to send just a superior infantry squads forward and try to force the enemy tanks back and then use fire support to actually win this. Oh no, is this another Jaguar going to get shot down? Jaguar does not get the hit, gets double shot. Manages to escape so far, but Koch has an Su-25 in the air, which is going after a Mephisto, actually, which I think is a good kill to get here. Oh no, going after the Roland.
Mephisto gets got as well, though. His CV is still alive. He has a second CV behind it, but he needs to get the center. He has 4 minutes to do that now, if he doesn't lose his own CV there in the middle. Issue is, there are a good amount of infantry units on the other side, and he doesn't have a bomber that can deal with that. So he needs to do it with helicopters or other stuff, or he has to go deep, and I think he is trying to go deep here, but the Mephisto gets his BMR, so his T-64 BVK here is a bit on its own now. And yeah, he doesn't have a second BRM in the south, but doesn't currently spot for it. Modradredka haven't moved into position either. Mi-24K could push through here as well, give him a bit of recon, but he needs to find a way to either push into Echo, into Charlie, or clean out Bravo. artillery is the solution for Bravo right now, but oh, the FR1 units coming in. Do they have a shot on the T-64 BVK? No, they don't. They only hit the T-64 B1 Razvedka. Milan 2, they're nearly hitting that as well. BMP2 lighting up the FR F1s. Mi-24 now risking it all. Will eat a Roland, will go down to that, but the T-64... Ooh, it shows side armor. Okay, the B1 goes down. Oh, the Master got the kill there. Can they get the capture here now? If they can get a capture here, I think blue side has lost a lot of units now. 2,000 point counter tick could be possible if Koch finds his footing here. But only now stops the take. Next P4 already on the way. Razvedka and Uats pushing through the north. But the Uats goes down to the Milan 2. Milan 2 nearly out of ammo, but not quite yet. The Voltigier FR1 with the LRAC still in there. Oh, T-64 spotted. They get it stunned, but one of them gets gunned down before that. And the second one still has a long reload here. It gets stunned down now as well, so T-64 should win this. One more infantry in this. Mi-24K in the south has to be careful. Is really low. BAB might gun it down here. Yes! Last second there. Max range. It gets the kill. Superflam still in the south. The BRM down there. So T-64 here trying to get forward. Mirage 3E coming in. Pasta is really going for broke here. Trying to finish this off before the enemy can get enough points. Artillery is landing on a decent spot there from the Master. But the P4 is trying to disengage. Does the BMP2? No, because of its heavy level of stun, it doesn't aim fast enough. So the P4 does escape, stays in the zone, keeps the tick up, 1 minute 29. There is no AT left in the middle, so this BMP2 could just run for the P4, but it gets gunned down by the Voltigiers. The smoke dissipates. The Voltigiers get the kill, the P4 is still alive. Grenadiers winning the fight against the Razvedka right now as well. 1 minute 11. The Master is aiming. Master is aiming on the wrong spot though. And the AMX-30 keeps their Sapari RPO out as well. 1 minute now. And there is another CV in the south. Okay, this is going to be Pasta's game most likely, as the AMX-30 counterattack here is really go. And there we go.
No.
Yeah, this is over. Mi-24 VAT goes down, and there we go. GGVP. Pasta has gotten game number 1.
Yeah, just Pasta. Like, Pasta strategy there was actually pretty solid. And the T-64 is slow. It is 50 kph. It's the speed of the Challenger with a pretty similar acceleration. I think a little bit worse at turning and all of that. But sending and basically sacrificing repeatedly those 10-man infantry squads, sending them to just physically force the enemy, the mech-heavy enemy, to move back and shoot at those infantry squads before and in that way kind of basically prevent the enemy from massing the fire support where it was needed. And even though in the engagements with the AMX-30s, the T-64s basically won most of them, despite being largely outnumbered. But the repeated sacrifice of the Grenadier Voltigeurs just kept Pasta in the game. There was no quick way of dealing with them. Not after the helicopters were denied by the Mistrals basically moving into the scene. And there was not enough time to get the BMP2 mass going. All of the points were going into those T-64s. The T-64s were the key, but the T-64s did not have the DPS, did not have the HE damage to actually deal with those units in time. And Pasta was absolutely like was butchering the milk cows there. This was not sustainable from Pasta's part, and I think that is why we saw Koch try so hard to get the T-64 force up there, because had there been basically like one singular engagement after which the AMX-30s were killed, I think this could have turned it into Koch's favor, like very decisively and quickly. As we can see, like the KDR here is it's like pretty equivalent. I think Koch misplayed in the opener, losing the T64, and Pasta's Mephisto missiles and Milan missiles did so much good work there. But I think the most important thing here was Pasta just making sure to not take bad engagements against the T64s. Like a few more bad engagements, I think, could have turned this pretty badly for Koch. And also, like Pasta's interesting smoke usage of using the smoke in a way, the smoke mortars in a way to provide his opponent the cover from which to escape, even escape like the Mephisto missiles. I think that was also a calculated risk, knowing that that could actually happen. But in that point of the game, Pasta just had to buy those extra 30 seconds and just did not want to have those engagements because those it was all. I think this was a very, very nice match to spectate, and not a lot of time for me to commentate, but like so much stuff happened there. Very happy about it. Very happy to see how is this going to go in game number 2.
Yeah, as the KD was pretty close here, so Koch absolutely has it in him here. So we'll see if this will work in game 2. Quick break, guys, and then we will be back with the second game here. So here we go, Pasta versus Koch, game number 2. As we have the next AMX30 division here in the hands of Pasta, as they have been working out pretty well, not just for him, but in the tournament in general. Especially since the buff that they got, the Spanish have gotten really good, and we have now the Spanish in the hands here of Pasta. On the other side, another Soviet division with BMP2s and some heavy tonks, this time around TADPVs though. And since the Tor buff, 27th has been fully back into action as well. So the Koch's 27th here going to be pretty interesting as well. As it is a division that the early game is not as easy to execute either, so a problem like in game number 1 could occur here as well if some losses like a TADBV or so start happening, but I like the setup quite a bit that we got here from Koch.
Yeah, and 27th is one of the slowest tank divisions. It is the highest tech Soviet division, so you get relatively more expensive units. You have the BTR 80s as infantry transports, which are 35 points, despite having pretty nice stats and smoke and good speed. You have the BMP3s, and BMP3 is the key unit of this division, and it is also, I think, the key unit on this map, considering how long the ranges are. The BMP3 is very expensive, but it has at 100 points, 5 front armor. It has 6 excellent missiles that can two-shot the front armor of the Spanish / French tanks here, and it also has excellent HE damage, so it can deal with a lot of the cheap and numerous Spanish infantry squads. The large infantry squads have to be bursted down. So this should fix the issue that Koch had last game, not having enough valuable anti-infantry fire support. But also, on the other hand, it is a 5 armor unit at 100 points. If it just gets shot at by a little bit by the AMX-30s, which are cheaper than the BMP-3 infantry transport is, I think like getting them back on the field can become such a hassle when you also are paying 40 points for the Motostrelki to go with them. Motostrelki, which cannot really fight against the Spanish infantry squads, which are better value and stronger than they are. The Spanish don't have to pay too much extra for great AT weapons, and the RPG-27, not a great AT weapon, but still a very good one. So you are paying extra when you buy the BMP3s with them. And the VECs, VEC-25s with the Bushmaster cannons can't like realistically deal with the BMP3s either, and can't even deal with the BMP2s. realistically. So Koch is going to once again take the Mi-24Vs, and they are going to use their rockets. No missiles once again, as you pointed out last game, but they're going to use their rockets and their guns to harass and try to stop the pretty heavy investment into forward deployment that the Spanish are bringing up. And then the Pasta Force is going to basically try to start a long-term fight on Echo with some kind of a limited push into the Foxtrot area. And there are no heavy equipment, nothing seriously actually is holding Foxtrot. So if Pasta gets a bloody nose in the opener and doesn't have the extra points in the first 5-10 minutes of the game to actually fortify Foxtrot, Koch could use that space and just expand into full 27th late game.
This is a
which is
weird
just
opener. Double F
yeah.
F4 or C12 in the Spanish service, because these F4s are not your, like, you expect enemy having Mi-24K. That is normal, but the issue is these F4s are actually not that great at killing them because they don't have a gun here. So I guess on the other side, Koch doesn't really want to risk the Mi-24s, but he can keep them around the Thor, and then you should not be able to dive onto them. So Mi-24s don't quite intercept the enemy opener here, but they still will do their job. And yeah, these F4s are really, really terrible at dealing with the enemy helicopters. And 27th not known for air openers. Like, they have a couple of good planes, but they usually don't bring them out right at the get-go, because they can't afford them with all the expensive ground units they have. The BTR-80 here going around. We have a couple of Conquerors with the classic 30mm grenade launcher team coming around at the same time. The recon infantry of the Spanish has gotten into a decent position. Issue of those guys is they are really cheap and really cost-efficient recon unit, but they don't have any key weapons, so they don't really stop anyone from pushing over them. So you usually don't want to put them into a position where they are in harm's way. The two recon helicopters are also now being shut down. The VEC-25 here now coming around, getting a Motostrelky Medis in transport. That is nice. That is nice. AMX-30 right behind that as well. Okay, here comes the F4 trying to dive, but the Tor gets a hit. AA gets a hit as well. There goes the first one. Second one in danger here as well. Tor does not get the hit there. Tor, really good accuracy against helicopters, so it is a pretty scary thing to against everything, against planes as well. The 70% or 65% base accuracy, 70% with that, especially as it stacks up when you get close, is really, really scary here. And with the extra range, they have become a really good AA piece. Hits the F4 here on the way out. Conquers M, gets the 25mm Bushmaster light vehicle, and the center here won by Koch. The F4 pushed out, and both helicopters still alive, and now the Spanish don't have AA. And this is a massive problem.
Yeah, and the Spanish also barely have any infantry. The first Fusileros C90 squad coming in with to the urban area, not even going into Echo. The Motostrelky Metis and the Motora Svedka are the strongest infantry forces right now on the middle of the map. And BRM is actually moving in. The VEC-90 that was sent to do like backline work is going to target the BRM for the moment, but it doesn't have a stabilizer. It can't actually fire without giving a specific command. Okay, now Pasta is seeing this and is following in. But the BRM is already getting a lot of information here. And the information basically is, oh, there's nothing here. Now, this is...
VEC, by the way, did hit the 15% unstabilized shot. Thanks to its 2-vet, it's going up from 5 to at least 15%, but it did hit that shot, so just getting rewarded for being ballsy. ORPC there, getting stopped from getting in there though, and the BMP-3 and the Motostrelky now pushing in, conquers them in a good position as well. The Tor has rotated around, the helicopters have stopped any movement on Pasta's side, and yeah, Pasta not quite finding the spot to be right now in this game, even giving the enemy some space, and the BMP-3 gets the CV unit and gets into a position where it's basically insanely hard to get it out again. Like, you need a helicopter or something, and you don't have that many helicopters as the Spanish. Maybe the plane, the ATGM plane can do it, but with tanks pushing into BMP-3 where it is right now is just absolutely insanity if your heaviest armor is 9. So this is a problem, a big problem for Pasta.
Yeah, the MiG-27 bomber, high altitude bomber being buffed here, and a decent bomb load. Pretty slow, pretty vulnerable, but good bomb load. Destroys the Fusilar C-90 with no Rolands in sights or fighters to actually deal with this. The only infantry squad for the Spanish has now been dealt with. 3 more infantry squads are coming in, but with Koch realizing that the Motostrelki just can move and just get ground for free, this unleashes the possibilities of building the ATGM net. The Conquerors M and the BMP-3 and the BMP-2, and now the Mi-24K is calling the bluff and going into the uncaptured Bravo. And Koch is even moving the Tor into the sideline. The first T-80 is being bought into Echo, but Pasta's opener just did not get any of the ground. The Milan 2s that were bought, Pasta bought 2 Milan 2s in the first minute of the game, and both of them went into the urban area. If one of them had gone to Foxtrot, it could have completely blocked all of this off. But Koch is just smelling blood here, buying another gunship, this time with the 18 missiles, so they can deal with the Subliers on long ranges, and can kind of theoretically even deal with the Rolands if the Rolands get into a bad spot. Yeah, the TOA PC is getting shot at by the Recon gunship right now, with the BMP-3s already doing 2,800 meter denial of movement and into some of the most open areas of the map here. And yeah, like
and
Pasta's
Pasta is trying to go
attacking.
deep now, but has a lot of ATGMs flying into his AMX-30, gets side shot there as well. This is not looking good. The T-80BV and the Mi-24 there having a good angle, conquers in the north, and there goes the second AMX-30 just as it tried to smoke off. This is not going well for the AMX-30s this time at all, and he is outclassed in the late game, so he has to get early game successes, and he is not getting that. So this game is looking pretty over here right now, as Pasta is trying to regain control over the north, but there is just too much of an outflank there with the Conquerors from the north. Koch has done a really good job of setting up the ATGM positions, getting those, and if they are around, MX-30s are so vulnerable to ATGMs, and yeah, Koch gets game number 2 here, quickly getting payback for that game 1, bullying the MX-30s this time around for real, and getting the 1-1 draw here in a 6-minute game.
Yeah, it's the like Pasta. I don't want to say that like this as a certainty, because we don't know what Pasta's logic was, but it did kind of look like that Pasta's Pasta centered the attack into the one zone that does not give you points. The 2 towers zone, the urban area where you can capture the enemy spotting high rise and then use that theoretically to attack 3 different other zones. But there's a reason we never see that happening. It's because when you expend your resources in getting to that high rise, you are now locked in there basically, because the enemy can just you're in a salient with the enemy targeting you from 3 different locations. Conqueror's M missiles have tandem charges, which did extra damage to the Subliers, and there really had to be an attack right there in the opener. And even like as I pointed out, the first minute buys for Pasta, I think that was was not great. I don't think from I think Pasta's opener unit compositions just should have been a little bit more standard. Like the airplanes, as you saw, the airplanes that would had AIM-9P missiles, which fire at short ranges and do half the damage of the single gunship health. So though they would have had to do like at the minimum, both of those fighter planes should have had to like do an insane amount of passes to actually get the kills there. And then also both of them getting shot down, which meant that there was no actual existing air cover for that early game aggression, because both of those planes were just sitting back in the repair bay. And and not having any of the Fusileros C90 or the Jinetes. The Jinetes, we see the Jinetes in these kinds of early recon openers. The Jinetes could have been fighting against the Spezza Svedka. They could have been in Echo with those Reconocimiento, and that the unit composition just needed more infantry.
Yeah, and also the 20mm MGs, or like fire teams that can get into buildings, like that would have dealt with the helicopters, but yeah, didn't see any of that, and yeah, that was just a bit of a mistake here on Pasta's side in deployment, and it got punished hard. Koch playing with a slow division really fast here, and really pushing the advantages that he saw really efficiently. So gets the 1-1 draw here, and that means we are back to the best of 3 basically now, as we have a 1-1 draw. And let's see who can decide that one, as we will go into game number 3 here. Who will get the advantage now? Asta or Koch? Game number 3 coming up in a minute. And we have a really, really hot game on our screens now coming in, as the roles kind of have switched. It is now Koch bringing in the Frenchy boys, though without AMX 30s this time, instead with the old school AMX 13s. And on the other side, we have Pasta bringing in one of the most successful divisions of the current season, one of the most successful divisions of WARNO history, and one of the oldest at the same time. 79th Guards Tank Corps coming in here, a division that lately has gotten even better once more, with the T64, T80BP being price buffed, and with the plain bomb drop patterns helping out that division especially. But on the other side, we have a division that finally seems to have made it into competitiveness as well. 152nd Infantry here has gotten buffed time and time again, and we finally start to see it having real successes and good matches in the tournaments as well. And it's gonna be interesting to see if Koch can make it work as well, as this division has gotten so many buffs that now it is really that cost-efficient spam wave with a lot of ATGMs and so on that you want it to be. And yeah, Massarin Eclairs here coming in from the get-go. The light infantry spam here being real, and this is going to be really, really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the Masuin Eclair, the recon unit that gets deployed in a helicopter gets the benefit both from the incredible speed of the Super Puma as well as the 2.5 kilometer forward deployment. So the Super Puma Masuin Eclairs basically deploy a exceptional stealth Apilas unit with a resolute and enough infantry firepower to fight off any single infantry squad, outside of maybe a Saperi RPO, but those guys, they cheat with the napalm launchers. Pasta is doing a pretty standard deployment. The MI2s to get the recon spotting, some relatively conservative deployment of the Spetsnaz GRU recon units, Saperi RPOs going into the landing zone of Boris, because you have to get there in the opener, you can't really get there after the opener. The Mi-8 rocket helicopter should be enough to fight off enemy infantry, but with the Ecuril, the 6 health modern new French gunship, helicopter gunship thingies, they should be enough to actually fight off this unarmored Mi-8 rocket helicopter. So it's going to come down to the Strela 10 to actually fight them off if Pasta wants to get a hold on Boris with this. Now, Pasta is opening up with a MiG-29, but 2 ancient Crusader aircraft are coming in with the miniature weapon loadouts.
But they have long-range missiles, so 2 of them can be deadly. And even if they're not deadly, they push the enemy back, so they do the job here. MiG-29 pushed back by 2 units that together still cost a good bit less than it does, meaning that the helicopters have room to maneuver now here for Koch. And the Mi-8 MT doesn't have any guns, so it can't deal with them. And the 20mm gunships here running in, getting the first Mi-2 helicopter, and the Mi-8 has to run as well if it doesn't want to get down, and it doesn't run. So it likely is just going to die here. Yes, there goes the Mi-8. Bad timing there for Pasta. His Saperi RPO is immediately being pushed back. EBR 90 there. is pretty stressed out, at least from the Mi-8. So the Mi-8 did sacrifice itself for something, but
Oh, the second minute, one
oh,
bursted by the Equeril at almost max range. Incredible hits coming in from the gunship
yeah, and at
helicopters.
the same time, the EBR in the north also got a hit against Saperi RPO and Transport. The other one unloading a bit late here. Strela disengaging the next Crusader around to protect the helicopters. And yeah, I liked Pasta's relatively conservative deployment with the focus on Boris, but like getting into Boris and trying to keep the front line as short as possible. You don't want to get overstretched as 79th against the French. You can roll them over in the late game. You just have to keep your stuff together. But the issue is the stuff is not being kept together because he didn't get into Boris and he lost a couple of really key little units here already, whilst Koch is now able to rotate around here. The French are bringing the hurt here, and the cost efficiency is starting to work out here for the quality level wise way lower French 152nd here, but they have good ATGMs. They have a lot of ATGMs, and the push of the T80s here, T55s here, is interesting, but they lose the Strela immediately, and the ML here on the side isn't being spotted by the Spetsnaz. Oh, the Spetsnaz is a bit too far south to get the recon information for the TO55, so they eat a side shot. At the same time, ML90 in the north goes down. Couple of Milan units here go down all across the board as well. The VAB Mephisto doesn't quite make it through either. TO55 does miss, but a Milan 1 in the center goes down as well. The Rapira doing a really good job there. Key unit in the matchup right now. The Trier Elite under fire there, trying to push it down as well, so they have to disengage there. Whilst we have Coops trying to shoot down Crusader. Good unit to do that, as it one-shot kills them, but it has to get the hits first. And yeah, +2 currently for the enemy here. Pasta bringing some more TO55s around, but we have more ABRs rotating north. And the issue with the TO55 is they don't have smoke, so if you try to push them over an open field, they might be in trouble.
Yeah, the TO55s are where really the only aggressive play from Pasta, and I like it. The getting that crossroad there allows you a lot of flexibility, and also basically allows you to defend the Fedor position at long range, which is what you want to do when you're fighting against a light infantry division with a heavy tank division.
Ooh, Mirage gets cooped. So this is the kills that Pasta needs, but Pasta needs to keep the stuff together as well. EBR here smoking off after getting a hit against the TO55. Spetsnaz GIU there in a good position. But I'm not a big fan of the TO55 flop in the north, as they also don't have max range engagement capabilities, so they can't just try to gun down the enemy units on the other tree line, and there is no recon for them right now either. Strela's trying to hit the Coop, MiG-29 getting pushed out. Strela's trying to hit the Crusaders. Coop out of ammo, and MiG-29 damaged and pushed out as well. So, situation here is a bit weird. Pasta immediately investing into an Acacia. That is an interesting investment here as well. Me too, running away from one of those helicopters against.
I believe that's a counter because the Koch has sprung out the World War II era Long Tom and targeted the Rapira, which basically is the one thing holding Pasta's defenses up in the middle. So I think Acacia could be a counter to this, knowing how Spetsnaz, GRU, and Acacia and Rapira dependent this defense is. But even though Koch lost some of those Milan cars, it has a lot more of them. And just every minute you can have such a wide front line for so cheap. The Milan cars don't have sustainability. They need to be constantly, they can be one-shotted for one. And they only have 4 missiles per, and they are not as great at hiding as infantry is. But you deploy them fast and you deploy them easy. And yeah, once again, and here with P4 Milan almost getting a Motostrelki BMP while they're still in the car, and I think Koch could reach a critical mass of just an amazing wide front line that is so inefficient to attack.
Oh, both Motostrelkis there in danger. One of them gets killed, the other one gets its transport killed, so that means that it is super stressed out when it gets out of the transport as well. The Rapira is pretty stressed out as well. The 155mm is now aiming at it. By the way, this is not a Long Tom. This is a French-designed gun.
Is it?
Yeah, TO55 engaging the P4 Milan, getting the kill there. GP2 moving forward. Acacia counter battering. It is old, but it's not quite as old. It's a like late 40s, early 50s kind of gun from the French. And the Alouette here trying to be sneaky, trying to get the real line capture, trying to set up the heat here. Whilst the Acacia not really getting any damage. Rapira under fire. TO55's coming around to try to stop the Alouette from landing. Will they get it in time? Oh, they get some damage on it, but I think the Alouette at least will get to do the job of uncapping the rear. Yep, so +4 is achieved. BRDM to you can rotate it in there quite quickly though. So this is not the biggest deal, but Strela at the same time running in without reinforcements. And the losses of Strelas here, they're really essential. Pasta has lost a good couple of them in moments where he didn't need to lose them. And that adds up here right now, because that means that he has to buy them again and can't invest into other things, as he needs to have some anti-helicopter around. At the same time, EBR-90s here, making it into his spawn. So Koch playing the classic wide gameplay that you want to play on Kreide, and playing it really, really well, and us are currently not really having the solution there. TO55s can be pretty good in this matchup, but you still need to have some support. I feel like the overinvestment, especially the reactive investment towards Boris of the 4 TO55s, was a bit mistake. I feel like he should have played towards Dimitri, towards center more, and give up Boris, as if you lose it in the beginning, you usually don't get back in there, and that really made this live here a lot harder. And now the EBRs are on the real line, and this is not going to be easy. He has 2 TADBVs on the battlefield at least now, but the situation here is pretty scary nonetheless for Pasta.
Yeah, the Super Attentat going there and getting a kill, now flying right under the cube, which could get a pretty nice hit here.
Oh, the Super Attentats, 30% ECM paying off. Both TO55s went down on the self, and now the Masserine Apilas pushing towards the cube. There's no unit there holding it off, so that Strela, it's not quite a cube, but that Strela and that Ural are in really big danger. TADP there pushing it on its own. The cohesion is just not here. Having to hunt EBR and the real line at the same time. The TO55 got one, the TADBV is engaging the other, but the Masserine are getting into a good spot, and Strela likely gonna go down there. Apilas in range to deal with the first unit. Apilas about to get into range to deal with the Strela. Ural down, TADB on the way in there as well, as the situation on the front line not developing amazingly either. There is still a Milan 1. There is still the P4 Milan, so the TO55 eats a lot of damage. Milan there coming in, does miss. TDB under fire now by the Apilas as well. Does get gunned down immediately, showing side armor there. And this might be the end. EBR getting gunned down, but that means now the Theodore point is completely open. Units already on the way there. Only one Spetsnaz GIU in front. TO55 here gets gunned down as well. And yeah, Pasta just losing the cohesion that you're not allowed to lose as 79th. And this moment here is looking really, really rough for our player in red.
Yeah, I mean, Pasta's attack here is sending in a lot of expensive units to fight against a lot of cheap units and that are performing exactly as they should. Milan 2 striking the hiding TAT in the front armor, pushing it back a little bit. Yeah, this was a, like, outside of the failed Boris attack, like the MI8 underperformed so hard. Like, they should have, I didn't know that the Ecuril was gonna like one salvo those helicopters, and the Ecuril also nice survivability with the 6 health, unlike a lot of other, or basically all the other light helicopters in the game have full health, so they don't get one shot by E-Class, for instance. And like I think Pasta had something going in the middle, I think, but just didn't commit to it properly. The attempt of building up forces into getting back into Boris, I think, drew so many resources away. And just the fact that for instance, the Motostrelki, when they pushed in to try to secure that forest in the middle, the just a little bit more micro, a little bit more investment, maybe get the artillery before you send in the infantry, unload the infantry a little bit early, knowing that you probably are going to be fighting 2v1, and then by the time those 50 cows got in there, it was basically too late to start doing those attacks without mechanized support. But I think Pasta once again kind of committed into the wrong engagements and with the wrong way. The MI8s could have worked out, I think, had Pasta had air superiority, but then the air superiority would have been so expensive to achieve that would it really have been worth it? I don't know. The Eclaireur, Marsuin Eclaireur, is an excellent unit here, performed amazingly, and I think Pasta needed a more decisive plan here once again, and didn't really. I think once it became just kind of striking blows and Pasta fighting from behind after losing so much to those helicopters, like Pasta kind of was waiting for something to happen, a possibility, a chance to actually start building up. But then at that point, the incredibly wide ATG and front line was already up. And I think Koch had a really great chance to build it due to that successful opener.
Yeah, and a really, really well done job with the 152nd. The 152nd really a division that finally makes its mark here. It's great to see it back up, and it also shows that Eugen doesn't need a time for some divisions to come back up, but every division has a chance of making it into the spotlight of competitive play. Together with Strike Team, Eugen is working pretty hard on getting every division its time in the spotlight. Some division types will be more prevalent in the meta forever. Like mechanized gameplay just has more things that it can go into, but even a division like 152nd will have its slots in tournament, and that is great to see. And it also shows that Balance currently is in a pretty solid spot. Um, yeah, going to be interesting to see what we're gonna see here in game number 4, as Pasta now has to bring it back, as Koch turned the series around. So Koch now on match ball. Let's see if Pasta can get it in game number 4, or if Koch does finish off the series here. And here we go on the lovely, lovely map of Isura, as we have the OG German matchup, the two German OG tank divisions against each other. On the West German side, Koch brings around the 7th Panzer Division of the NVA, of the Nationale Volksarmee. And on the left side, we have the Bundeswehr's finest with the 5th Panzer coming around for Pasta. And we have seen Leo 2 divisions doing really well on this map before. Even when they start to look like they were falling, Mix 90 did show us how to use them here. So let's see if that can be done here as well. As Fifth Panzer likely will be under pressure in the early game, but if you can get 3, 4, 5 Leo 2s on this map, then you can do a lot of wonderful things with them. So Koch has to put up the pressure here from the get-go, and let's see if they can do that. Conquer is here going into decently aggressive spots, but especially through the middle with the 30mm grenade launchers and the T-72M1. There seems to be a push directly towards the buildings between Foxtrot and Echo coming in here.
Yeah, these are fagots actually, which wait, yeah, you have the Conqueror scars in there. Yes, yeah, this is like an incredible like late stage Isura opener here coming in, just pure weapons teams behind a recon, mild recon opener with one, like, I mean, at this point, the M1 is a heavy tank in the 7th Panzer. It's the heaviest tank in 7th Panzer. So one heavy tank, defensive weapons teams, and defensive weapons teams, defensive weapons teams. This is, I think, this could either be very, very powerful or just a complete catastrophe, depending on how the enemy is attacking here. But I think this is going to work out, unfortunately, for Pasta. Pasta is doing a more standard opener with the Lukes going out there on the sides. Actually, 2 Lukes going trying to do a double flank on the sides, just hugging the end of the edge of the map, with Jaeger Aufklärers and Fernspurs taking standard spotting positions, not really that aggressive, but with the number of tanks Pasta has here, out 4 as opposed to the 1 of Koch, these tanks are going to try to attack. They are going to try to do something, probably with the Fernspurs behind them. And if Pasta doesn't engage those weapons teams very carefully, with excellent micro and not wasting the smokes. If Pasta smokes all the tanks at the same time, the game is going to go for Koch, because that is going to be Pasta's chance to actually start dismantling the obviously very dense defensive network that Koch is building up here. Kind of like it happened in the last game, but just on a way, way, way smaller scale. And the problem is that it's very difficult to get breakthroughs on this map, and 7th Panzer can do infantry counterattacks. East German infantry is quite good, and just Panzer Grenadiers on their own won't have the survivability to deal with the fire support and the grenade machine guns that Koch is clearly relying on here.
Yeah, Leo 2's coming up together with the 3 Leo 1 brethren. Oh no, it's 2 Leo 2s and 2 Leo 1A1s. Okay. So yeah, they have to keep the recon alive for as long as possible here to get the job done as well. As Alouette is going down, that is annoying but predictable. Like, those are only there to get a glimpse on the enemy's general opener. If you can get them to stay alive afterwards, that's a bonus, but not the outcome that you would expect. Leo 2's now here in an engagement with the enemy, get an SPW, don't get hit just yet by the enemy ATGMs, engaging a Fagot team. One gets a single hit from a Fagot, that is fine. The first Fagot team here about to go down, second Fagot team getting a shot off here now, but Conquerors and Fagot teams in the north currently not in the engagement. They will get into it right now though. First smoke out on the tanks. Supply truck would be a great investment here to keep the resupply going. And ATGMs start coming in. ATGMs start to take a toll on this. SU-22 AT is the big issue. Ooh. Rolands, can they retaliate? They can retaliate with a hit. Oh, and we have a bailout. Oh no. Oh, Pasta getting the bailout here. Oh, disaster struck. Leo 2A3 hit by bailout. That is the big pain with the heavy tanks. Please, Eugen, do something about the bailout situation. Leo 2A3 gets got, and yeah, enough ATGMs are coming down on it. Gepard 1A1 rotating into the south as the 30mm grenade launcher doing a good job in the middle. Yeah, this is the worst case scenario here. 2 re-emplacement, Leo 1A5's coming up, but supply truck not here yet. Next Leo 2A3 coming up as well. The Fanspare situation at least is still okay. Gepard here coming forward to try to help out. We have a Transport Panzer Fuchs and another Pioneer Carl Gustav here as well to try to help out with all of this. Gepard can help out against the 30mm grenade launcher here potentially as well, though it isn't doing the same damage that it did in the previous patches against infantry teams. Next, Swilling here coming around as well. Looks on a mission here in the south, but there are 2 Conquerors SPWs here, so it won't be easy. Looks in the north, gets got as well, but the Conquerors team goes down there in an SPW 70, so at least that's a nice kill. Well,
yeah, so the problem here for Pasta is that Pasta has 0 ATGMs, and ATGMs are the thing that actually counters T-72s, especially those older variants, those standard variants with no smoke and only 15 armor. And there is already 5 T-72s out there on the board, one of the leader, now 6th one getting bought here. And even though Pasta has a nice number of Leopard 2s, the number of Leopard 2s is not going to have a place to retreat to. There is not enough infantry with the Carl Gustavs.
Gepard is too far forward. Gepard getting routed, so it will get got here as well. Can't smoke off anymore. Luke's trying to get involved into the action here, but the second Conquerors is a bit too much. Smokes off, but is getting the stun still. Oh, this is unfortunate. Did micro there pretty well, but the stun still got through. It doesn't get a hit against the T-72 here. Carl Gustav doesn't get a hit either because it is pretty stressed out as well. Looks gunned down. Pastor never lucky in this match here right now, as the T-50, the Leo ones here not stunning the T-72 down because they don't quite get the hit, and now the ATGM there is in range, gets an immediate hit. Okay, this is not looking good here right now, but okay, gets repaid with an engine destroyed. This means that this T-72 here is dead. Okay, that is a bit of a repayment here, and a second T-72 there in a bit of trouble as well. The Leo 2s maybe could get that one as well, but they're not rotating. They're only now moving a bit late there to get the catch, as I think the T-72 is about to break line of sight there. Yes, gets through the into the smoke. Leo 185 in the south gets gunned down as well by the T-72, and the Leo 283 is not engaging the T-72. The T-72 is pushing through the south now with the Spezialaufklärer as well. Leo 185 pushing through the smoke, trying to get a hit here. Gets a frontal hit, but the T-72 M1 does get a hit as well. Leo 283, big mistake there by Pasta, letting that stop, and is now trying to hunt here, but the other two T-72s are already pushing close, and 3 versus 1, they will beat the Leo 2A and the Leo 185 here, not really in a competitive position anymore. And Leo 283 here not quite having the potential to kill off the enemy, gets gunned down by the T-72 MKs here. This is not looking good. SU-22 does fail to hit this time for Koch, so at least that Leo 283 does survive. At least another bit of a lucky moment there for Pasta, but situation here currently pretty critical. Needs to get some more kills here on T-72s. Gets one there with the Leo 283 in the north, but yeah, pushing in just a bit too late there with the other one. Gets a good hit here against the CV. That would be a good kill as well. Here 105's coming around, but Koch reacts in time. Does use the smoke. Next CV here coming in for Koch towards the center zone. But the pressure here is up. BO105's flying a bit too close there as well. Strela 1 already on the way. Big AA coming in. Gets the first BO105. Second one is in danger as well. They have the tornado cluster coming up. Situation here is still pretty critical. Strela at least gets gunned down. Tornado goes for the forest. Does not drop its bomb. What? And there comes the S22 again, and this time around it does get the hit, and the Strela gets hit against the tornado as well, pushing it out. Another S22 is around here too. The Roland in the north gets gunned down by the ATGMs. Okay, yeah, this is currently just falling apart for Pasta, and it looks like Koch is on a really, really good way here of keeping the T-72 pressure up. S22 getting another hit here. Fuchs goes down. They don't quite get the Leo, but they get the Fuchs. The S22 number 1 goes down, but the situation here is still pretty critical. At least another T-72 gets gunned down, but no CV on the front line right now. Not a lot of infantry here. Only 2 Leo 2s, and we talked about that Leo 2s can do a lot of damage here, but they're currently fighting the whole horde of the enemy. And yeah, this is just a bit too much going down here for the 5th Panzer right now.
Yeah, well, I think I really had it on the money when I pointed out that there was no ATGM defense in depth. Now the first Milan 2 is coming out here after those Hot 2 helicopters, the emergency defensive helicopters that we see basically anytime an enemy penetrates or gets too far in, and just the raw fundamentals. The weapons teams, even the grenade machine guns, they can spot enemies, so giving them extra visibility, especially in this very urban environment. Very important to have those eyes on the ground when with a division so dependent on aircraft, especially AT aircraft, as 7th Panzer is, and with so many investments getting put into those expensive units attacking that relatively weak ATGM line in the early game, and then just kind of Pasta showing his hand and showing basically that this is an all-in, that there are 2 Leopard 2s already in here, that this is the commitment that Pasta is doing. And with the grenade machine guns and the fact that the recon infantry for the West Germans didn't really have any significant AT weapons to deal with these SPWs or BRMs or any kind of vehicle really that wanted to spot them. So, and the effective, efficient Fagot weapons teams, the AGS-17 grenade machine guns, all of them just build a nice little space for the T-72s to fight in, whereas the Leopards are basically forced in to move and risk themselves every time that they move out. And with Koch having the SU-22s already up in the air, the SU-22s being able to one-shot the front armor of the Leopard 2A3, this is a really bad concern here. And now Milan 2s are finally on the ground, getting targeted by.
Okay, Gephardt here getting a hit, but S22 killing it off. The Rolands, can they retaliate? Both getting a shot out, only one getting a hit. T-72 got side-shotted there by the Leo 2A3, but it was max range, so it didn't quite go down. The Milan 2 couldn't quite find the kill. That would have been maybe the moment to allow the Leos to move a bit more freely again, but now Koch is getting into the building line, and this is just a bit too much here. Perutian Taste, thank you for the Twitch Prime. Much appreciated. As we see the SPWs under fire here now as well. Infantry with the Martyrs coming in from the rear as well. Leo 2A3 here pushing forward, trying to get through all of this to the Mimetic Grenade Launcher. Not quite getting the job done. Milan 2 here in the south, failing to get any hits either. F4F AA in the sky here once more for Pasta, trying to get some hits here on the rear line. Conquers holding the rear in the north as well. Roland getting hit by a Spezialaufklärer. Spezialaufklärer getting the kill against the Roland 2. This situation here is currently crumbling apart for Pasta, and yeah, it's just too much of a strong position now of the whole town being red for Pasta to come back into. S22 AT flying in here. Leo 2 smoking off, but this is completely untenable for the 5th Panzer right now.
Yeah, it's just I say that it's just the weapons teams. Just the weapons team. I don't think we've ever seen a division actually go all in on this map and succeed. This map really serves a little bit of a wide front line. There is so much defensive cover. There is so much potential space to move in and hide. And even though the map itself, especially the area in which the fighting happens, is so small, the inherent advantage of the numbers, not just in spotting, but also in just having wider engagements. We could see the Leopard 2s, they were always in that one area. They could not move around. And Koch
2-1
traded
KD
exactly that
here.
way.
2-1 KD.
Yeah.
GGVP and Koch winning this best of 5, winning Division 2 this season, moving on into Division 1 in full-on glory here, and getting himself a nice $25 ruse on the way here as the winner of Division 2 as well, thanks to your guys' lovely support over at Mecherino, where we are sitting at somewhere at $60, thanks to all of your guys' support. Big thanks there for all of the contributions. Much appreciated. Payout will be done this weekend. And yep, we will have Division 3 finals tomorrow as well, where $20 are on the line as well. And Pasta and Koch here, really good show. Pasta's playstyle throughout the season, a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to see Pasta in Division 1 as well, with some fancy plays and maybe some Berlin Command games next season once more. And that division obviously it's hard to get through to picks and bans, and it hasn't worked out this well for Pasta this season, but maybe it can do it in Division 1. So yeah, GGVP here. And yeah, job well done by Koch. Let's see how that will go next season. Yep, really, really good job here.
Yeah, it's I mean this I was a little bit afraid looking at the game lengths that this was going to be Pasta basically getting tilted and just not not giving us proper games. But I was pleasantly surprised in that outside of that quite strange Spanish game, I think in every game Pasta had an idea of what was gonna happen, and all the ideas were just in the first one they did function. The infantry pushing to keep the T-64s out, it did work very well, but they were just and in this game even we had a clearly a core concept of tank all in, but and then just like having the numbers to have the superior tanks from the very start and just microing and controlling them. But Koch played outside of the last game. I think Koch played relatively standard and always had the unit composition to counter it. Koch's play didn't really have any clearly like any holes. There wasn't a clear weakness. Koch didn't seem to be doing Hail Marys, and just solid fundamentals against Pasta's a little bit more wacky style, a little bit more risky style, and Pasta repeatedly just crumbled in these situations. And I think Koch may have done his homework pretty well, and I think Koch also maybe just uh, had an understanding that there was going to be this more aggressive and more risky play style from Pasta, which I think people who talk to Pasta can kind of read from his personality. And in the current meta, we don't really reward all ins or just wacky stuff as much as the game may have used to. So weapons themes, cheap, efficient, good numbers, white front lines, all of this just beats even superior units pretty reliably.
Yeah, job really well done here by Koch, and yeah, the bailout pretty unfortunate there. But we will see how this will all play out for these players next season, which will start in January. Sign up. Will go up tonight or tomorrow. I am a bit late on that, but last couple of days were a bit busy. We will have also Division 3 finals coming up tomorrow. Like busy plus EU5. I did the mistake of getting that game and it just ate my hours. The couple of hours I had the last couple of weeks completely up as well. So yeah, we'll see how that all goes and see you all in the next one, guys. Thanks for watching here. See you tomorrow with Division 3. I also have a tier list coming up again on YouTube over the upcoming days for a bit more action. And yeah, now let's send you over to Moidok, who's playing War Thunder out of all things.
Icarus is playing WARNO. Hey, everybody, watch Pluribus. Pluribus is a great TV series. Be part of the thing before it gets super popular. Vince Gilligan always starts out slow, but there's some great acting and like just amazing acting work done with sometimes in very little dialogue.